If we take as a basis the assertion that Alexei Navalny and the created FBK apparatus are a project controlled by the FSB, then all the inconsistencies in the case of poisoning Navalny fall into place. As a former senior officer of the GRU of the General Staff of the USSR, I once underwent training, including the study and acquisition of skills in the practical use of toxic substances and poisons of chemical and natural origin. We trained using these substances on rodents, dogs, and even monkeys at the Research Institute. Gamaleya, a small group, including me, was even sent to a closed military laboratory located on the territory of the Saratov region. Therefore, as an expert on this issue, I would like to dwell on the case of the so-called poisoning of Alexei Navalny. Based on my fundamental knowledge and experience, I can assure you, when using even the most powerful deadly poison, every little thing is calculated, which allows you to inflict exactly the kind of damage to the body that is required. All diseases suffered by the alleged object of poisoning, and even complications provoked by these diseases, are taken into account. The state of health of the object at a given point in time is determined. A detailed study is made of the daily schedule and the habits developed over the years of the object, the diet, the amount and composition of the liquid drunk and preferences in drinks, including alcoholic ones, as well as food intake. There are no small things. Special points are age, weight and height to calculate the possible extent of the blood and digestive system for an accurate calculation of the planned dose reaching the main organs of human life, depending on what result we want to get. For example, the formation of a blood clot and its separation within the estimated time, or the impact on previously affected organs in the course of its chronic diseases, causing a natural crisis for everyone around, leading to a completely natural death. By the way, with the help of such poisons, you can provoke any disease, even cancer in the body of an absolutely healthy person. Having studied and compared all the facts available from open sources, I can say with 100% certainty that in the case of Alexei Navalny, we are dealing with a staged poisoning. This is indicated by the whole series of events, from his fall in the plane, not earlier and not later than the intended flight point, which allows him to land exactly in Omsk, and to the subsequent measures taken with the patient in the Omsk hospital, with obtaining permission for emergency export abroad and his treatment at the Charité. But the main thing is the absence of any complications after poisoning. The dose and place of application of the poison was carefully calculated to thousandths. The speed of restoring the patient's health is simply fantastic, of course, for those who have ever come across this seriously, and not in a special dramatization. But the most important performance began after his return from Germany to Russia. I am very familiar with the GIN system, today it is called the Federal Penitentiary Service, and I can assure you that in the case of Alexei Navalny and in the conditions of his detention, from the moment of detention to the present, the nature of his detention in the colony does not correspond to the nature of the work of this well-established systems. If they really wanted to kill Navalny from the very beginning, and not make him a martyr for the sake of raising his rating among the so-called opposition, then what prevents them from doing the same in the colony? A blow of a sharpened handle of even a simple aluminum spoon, sharpening, into the liver, and no charité will help. And organizing a quarrel with a criminal is not difficult. And the easiest way was to send to the hospital, and already there, using the usual poison of plant origin, gradually kill, attributing death to a complication in the body's work after poisoning based on poor nutrition. After all, no one will prescribe a diet in the colony. Moreover, in my opinion, he even went on a hunger strike, which is categorically impossible after such a serious poisoning, as they say. But even these conclusions, I decided to question and consulted with competent experts in these matters from Russia and Germany. All of them claim that patients after such poisonings fully recover over several years, and under the strict supervision of doctors. Complications and sudden failures in the work of individual organs of the body can begin at any time. Moreover, it is known that Alexei Navalny suffers from a chronic form of pancreatitis. My friend, a toxicologist from Germany, even suggested that Alexei Navalny left Germany so quickly in order to get rid of mandatory observations of the state of his body. After all, they would certainly have revealed the fact that the poisoning itself was staged, since the symptoms and the standard state of the body for that medical case cannot be changed. Now let's touch on the period of Alexei Navalny's stay in a strict regime colony and his active work in writing articles and even organizing some kind of trade union. I had the practice of communicating with the leadership of the GUINA of Russia and directly cooperated with a number of colonies in the Komi Republic and in the Komi Perm Autonomous Okrug, and I know exactly what to transfer articles from the strict regime colony IK7 of the Village to Freedom. Pakino of the Vladimir region is absolutely impossible, as well as from any colony in general, and even more so from such a prisoner controlled from all sides, as Alexei Navalny allegedly is, as propaganda convinces us. I affirm that Alexei Navalny and the so-called Fund for Combating Corruption, FBK, created by him and his colleagues in the FSB system are the idea and author's development of General of the Army Sergei Borisovich Korolev, first Deputy Director of the FSB of Russia. It was on the creation and supervision of this development of his that Korolev gradually rose through the ranks. This special operation was for him the springboard that allowed him to rise to the very top of the administration of the punitive system of Russia. I am sending this appeal, among other things, to the politicians and statesmen of Europe, the USA, Canada and other allied countries, who, unfortunately, are still trying to discern at least some opposition within Russian society. In my opinion, and in my colossal experience in the field of intelligence and counterintelligence, there can be no uncontrolled opposition in today's Russia from the very beginning. In one way or another, all opposition characters are connected with a well-organized criminal system. And Alexei Navalny and persons associated with him are a fallback for an attempt to restart the system, as it was already in the early 90s, to reset relations with the rest of the civilized world in the name of preserving the system itself, created and strengthened over 105 years of the existence of a bloody monster under the name of the USSR Russia.